Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to number 19. Can you believe that? 19 live streams, and I can't think of a better place to have it than here with Eric Peterson and his amazing artist, Travis Neberker. You know Eric. So we've been tracking the casting process of this piece all the way through, and I'm so excited because today is the day we get to do the patina. So you can imagine as an artist, as I'm working on a piece like this, all I'm thinking about is how this piece is going to look and read with the texture that Eric's going to do with the patina. And to me, that's when this piece will come to life, is with the magistry and the magic that these guys produce for me as an artist. So Travis, it's all up to you. Eric, you want to talk about what Travis is going to do?
Yeah, so we're going to start. What we've already done is all the chasing work has been done like we showed a couple weeks ago. And the piece was sandblasted, and then we wheeled it up with Scotch-Brite pads to bring the shine of the bronze out, because we want that metal to show through. That's what gives it the depth and the beauty. And so usually our first step is to turn areas of the piece darker with a chemical called liver of sulfur.
Like we saw 2 weeks ago, kind of with that one where you burnish back a little bit.
Yep, we did a little sample.
Yeah.
So we're going to have Travis is going to heat this up and then show a little bit of the process of putting the liver of sulfur on this piece. The cat is mostly light, but they have some darker areas by their paws and face.
Yes.
And so first thing though, we got to heat it up.
Yeah.
So let's let Travis do that.
Okay, Travis, here you go.
So normally we wouldn't be doing this out in the middle of the room.
Would you do this outside normally with a piece this size?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
And then we have another patina booth set up where we'll be moving to next.
Okay.
But yeah, the one that we're going to move to, he started outside, and then I already started the patina, so we'll be picking that up midway through.
So I notice this is changing color as he's heating it. Can he kind of determine by the color how hot it's getting?
Yeah, when the bronze starts turning a golden color, that means it's getting nice and hot. Now for this liver of sulfur, he doesn't have to get it as hot as normal.
Yeah.
But we always say the bronze is usually heated to between 350 and 500 degrees.
Okay. And he's got to get a uniform heat somewhat, because if there are cold areas on the bronze, it just pulls the heat away from the hot areas, correct?
Yeah, that's true. And he kind of preheated it a little bit before we started this, so we wouldn't have to spin so long.
Yeah.
But again, for this liver of sulfur process, it will actually turn the bronze a darker color with no heat. So you don't need a lot of heat on this part of the process.
Yeah.
So he's going to be working on the back area there by the legs. That's probably enough heat for him. There. So get the front heated up a little. And now what happens is we move to a smaller torch.
Yeah.
So let me get this handed to
Gentlemen,
Travis.
we got Peter Schmidt from Goodyear watching, saying good morning.
Peter, welcome. We're glad to have you.
And of course, Joel Peterson.
Joel.
Watching live, it's awesome.
Right. Good deal.
Okay, so there you can see we've got the liver of sulfur mixed up in a squirt bottle and a little jar. Travis is going to start by brushing it on. So
it's turning dark instantly, and this is going to be like an antiquing, I assume, where it goes in the recesses.
Yeah, and if you look at a photo of a mountain lion, you'll see that they kind of have a little bit of that darkness in their face.
Oh yeah.
In fact,
and a stripe on the muzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we have Dave North watching from Montana, where one of the Simbas will find a new home.
Oh, Dave and Linda, thank you for chiming in. This is so exciting for you to see this.
Here's our actual, can you get that? Our actual reference photo that we were using to color the face. So you can see Travis is making areas dark, kind of the same as this.
Yes.
You can see the lighter parts of the cat are represented pretty well by the bronze color. One thing that's really changed from when I started doing patinas 24 years ago is it's sure nice you can just Google anything you want.
Oh, true.
As reference material.
Yeah, with the photos and so forth,
Yeah.
Well, it's so fun for me to see this, because now I can already see the textures that I've put into that face being highlighted by the dark recesses.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just show real quick, when Travis is done, you can see we can burnish over the top of this, and that's how you can bring out those highlights.
Do that again. Yeah, there you go. So that really brings up the texture.
Yeah.
Wow,
so you can
look
see
at
the
that.
texture showing through there. Now normally what we do is get all the areas black. Oh, and we're even going to do take a little brush and the black
the eyelash.
Yeah.
Almost like mascara they have on.
Yep, so he's going to put that in there and everything.
So I noticed Dave and Sue Lamb viewing you guys.
Oh, good to hear
Prescott,
from you.
Prescott Valley, Arizona.
Yes.
And Chris Whitman.
Yeah, Chris.
Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Got a lot of viewers coming in.
Thank you, guys. So I noticed when Travis started heating this up, the bronze almost turns shiny wet, like there's moisture being whipped out of the bronze. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, the bronze is very porous, and when it just sits around in a room, it's actually full of a lot of water. So the first thing that happens when we heat it is the water comes out of the bronze, and then that's where our chemicals will fill that place and soak into the pores of the bronze.
So it's amazing. It does really actually open the pores, and it's hard to fathom that something as hard as bronze actually is porous enough to soak, to get moisture in its pores.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty amazing.
Yep.
So this would still turn black without the heat, but this actually advances the chemical or the oxidation process.
Yeah, it makes it stick easier, and also he can control it. You see, if this wasn't warm, as he put that on the ear, it would drip down the body.
Sure.
But he's able to control where he wants the heat to go.
Yes.
So he's specifically outlining the outer part of the ear and the inner part of the ear, where the mountain lion would actually be darker.
So I'm going to turn this, Travis, if you don't mind, I'm going to turn this a little bit toward the camera so they can see the face of what you're doing. Is that okay? There you go.
So what are you thinking about, Travis?
Well, what I'm thinking about when I'm working on this is what it's going to do to the final patina, because like you were telling them already, the darkness underneath, even though we're going to burnish it back, it still will show through in the final patina. And when we layer other chemicals over this,
Turn the torch down, there you go.
when we layer other chemicals over this, it will end up changing the color of the front of his face as opposed to what's on the areas that don't have the liver. So it gives it more contrast and variation in the final product.
Exactly. So there's really a lot, on every step of these things, there's a lot of thought that goes into each part.
Every one of them, yeah, absolutely. And it's like dominoes. One step builds to the next, to the next, to the next. If there's a mistake in the first step, it's going to reflect through in the last, I would assume. So if a lot of you watched this piece being molded, the wax being made, the entire lost wax casting process, but I don't think you've seen the pile of the puzzle that they have to put together when they receive a piece like this. So Eric, look at this. This is how you receive it. This is that entire piece in this one area.
Yeah, this is how we get it.
So you can imagine.
Ken, we have Kim Corey, our good friend.
Oh, Kim, welcome.
She never gets tired of watching the magic that happens with Patina.
Yes. So you can imagine these artists have to get this piece and put it all back together like we saw 2 weeks ago, welding it, grinding it.
You can see all kinds of things that happen during the casting process, little flaws and everything that comes out.
Yeah.
Patches in the legs.
Yep. Sprues, all that stuff. And you can't see any of that, the welds or anything, on the finished piece. I mean, that was where that leg was. So Eric, on to the next step, we have Kristen.
Yeah, let me
that's doing.
Let me get this moved over here. We got to get our big torch back over here. Yeah. Oh no, you can start with the little and then.
So Eric, we talked about all the many artists that are involved in this process. Kristen being my piece that you employ does work, their own artwork in their own way, shape, or form.
Yep.
So that's what's comforting for me as an artist to know that these people have the eye to know, plus they know the effort that has gone into my making a piece or any of your artists.
Yeah.
And so a perfect example is Kristen's work. Can we
Wanna
pick
show
this
her
up?
piece?
Yeah. Let me get out of the way. So,
this is one of Kristen's pieces.
Kristen,
her
if you
Gila
don't
monster.
mind, we're just talking about.
Forget the cat for
Yeah,
now.
forget that. We want to talk about. I was just telling Eric how comforting it is for me to know other artists are working on my work because you know what it takes to get to a piece like this. So this is your work, highly, highly detailed.
Yeah, maybe to a fault.
No, not at all. I mean, that's a Gila monster, right?
Yeah.
And so you did your own patina, you do your own striations in the rocks and everything.
Yeah.
So, and what inspired you to do that?
Well, I've lived in Arizona my whole life, and there's a lot of lizard artwork, but I'd never really seen a Gila monster, which is kind of unique to the area that we live in. Although I haven't seen one in Prescott.
Yeah.
But so I decided to sculpt it, and obviously they're so well known for how beaded they look, almost like a beaded purse or something.
Yeah.
But I discovered after I started it, maybe that's why I hadn't seen too many, because that amount of detail took a long time.
Exactly.
And I made each one of these scales by hand.
Now,
with
did
wax.
you have to weld any of this together
Just,
through all that texture?
under the legs were welded on, and underneath the chin is welded on.
But you can't see.
no,
You cannot tell.
You can tell. I think Jefferson chased this, and he did a really excellent job just covering up the weld lines. So he did a great job matching it.
Well, there's a case in point as to why I love other artists working on my work. So with that said, let's get you back to work over on Simba.
So Kristen has been doing patinas for like 16 years now.
Really?
So yeah, she's
That's
patinaed
terrific.
thousands of pieces.
Yeah. Hundreds of mine.
Hundreds of years, yeah.
Yeah.
So this one started just like the other that we showed, and you can see where the liver of sulfur black
Yes.
was put here.
On the
you can
toes.
see where it was on here, and it's kind of showing through subtly on the face.
Now, Eric, explain why it looks chalky and light.
Well, we're putting, as the mountain lions are colored, we're putting the white color towards the bottom.
Yes.
And then on top, you see the bronze showing through, but we've taken a chemical called bismuth nitrate.
Which is the white. Okay.
Yeah. So we've squirted some of that on there, and that creates like an extra layer of depth in the coloring. It looks a little chalky right now because the piece hasn't been finished and lacquered and
so
waxed.
it really comes to life, and all those rich translucent colors become that way from the sealing and the waxing at the last
Yeah, so
stage.
let's spray some water on there.
This will show you what it's going to look like with, oh, look at the difference. Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah, and that shows you how, see that bronze coming through?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And the shine. So it's got the shine.
Yeah. And you'll probably go through even if it's shield and you'll highlight or even darken some areas to accentuate the texture.
So Kristen, you want to turn that torch down a little and talk about what you're thinking and what you're working on?
Yeah, I'm just adding some of this bismuth nitrate to the white areas of the cat right now, just to kind of pop out the markings that the cats naturally have. But you always want to try and maintain some of these bronze highlights that you can see. So we have the white, but you also have that beautiful metal shining through.
One thing I like about the way you use the bismuth nitrate, which is the white, a lot of patina artists I've noticed will go a little bit too overboard and they lose the transparency, and that is kind of an opaque chemical to begin with, but you're really good at letting the bronze reflect through, like Eric just showed when he wet it.
Yeah.
How you can still see the bronze.
Yeah, you want to maintain the look of the bronze, because otherwise the piece of artwork could be made out of anything. It could be ceramic,
wood,
but yeah,
anything.
wood.
Yeah.
So to have that bronze, that metal showing through it, really, kind of, gives you that beauty that the metal has all in its own. So
it shows the texture very, very well.
Hey guys and girls, we've got Olga.
Hey, Olga.
Vedeva, masterpiece
Medvedev.
in progress by masters themselves. She's
Oh,
stating. So
thank you.
welcome, Olga.
You're a master too, Olga.
So you can see too, if we get too much white, or if we want the cracks to be more opaque, we can go back and burnish over the top and bring the bronze back over the top and bring out that shine of
That
the bronze,
warmth, the
but
warmth
then
of the
have the
bronze.
more natural whites
Yeah.
underneath.
So, Kristen, if you're working on the face now, are you just darkening some of the areas for highlights?
Yeah,
Or
we'll probably take some dark around the mouth and the eyes. You saw the liver earlier.
Yeah.
So there's already a dark layer underneath that will be more apparent after it's lacquered, just like
Sure.
what you saw with the watermelon. It'll become more transparent.
Okay.
But we'll still add a little more dark. There's a lot of layers that go into these because the more layers you put on, the more depth it gives the piece. So,
And you're going to go back in and probably highlight the eyeballs themselves.
right.
So you'll
yeah.
see them a little bit better.
One of the last things we will do is actually shine up the eyes. And then the other main chemical we're using on here is ferric nitrate.
The
talked
browns,
about.
yeah.
Ferric nitrate, we've
Well,
talked
see,
about
there's-
that before.
There's the eye coming to life.
Yeah, you
right
can
there.
see the eye popping out just like that. And
Wow.
we'll put
We
some
have
ferric
Sally
on there.
Show watching from Edmonds, Washington.
Oh, Sally, good
Says
to
makes me homesick for AZ.
You need to come and see us, Sally. Come and see us. Yeah, that's just what you did, Kristen, is amazing.
Yep, bringing that eye out.
So-
And normally that would be the last thing we do because
Yeah.
it can darken during the process and everything.
Yes. So we'll let you go back to work, Kristen, and show us some more magic for a few more minutes.
Okay.
Again, opening up the pores of the metal with the torch.
Some ferric highlights.
Now Kristen is switching over to the ferric nitrate, which is liquefied iron, right, Eric? This is the
So
iron.
that's the stuff we make ourselves by taking nails, putting them in a jar.
Of nitric acid.
Well, we put them in a jar, we take it outside, and then we pour nitric acid in. There's kind of an explosion.
Oh, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
That's no problem.
So we let that set for just the right amount of time,
Yeah.
and then strain it and add water, and you come up with your ferric nitrate mix.
And now you have the steaming hot nitric acid coming off the bronze.
Yeah.
Isn't
Now
it?
look, she's working on the nose.
Oh,
We're gonna
yeah.
kind of give him a little bit of a pinkish nose.
Yeah, and that's with ferric.
Yep.
Wow, look at that. Those small subtleties add up to such an amazing final product.
Yeah.
And when she starts putting the darker highlights in, like the muzzle markings and
Yeah.
the whisker markings and everything else,
Yeah.
and again, like we saw Travis do, the darker eyelashes and so forth will come back out as well.
Don't worry too much about the dark because we'll do that after. We gotta be careful with the darkening because
You can't go lighter.
You can go wrong.
Yeah. So our friends, the clients that commissioned this piece are coming a little bit later today. So we're gonna, as we work on this, we know, or Eric knows, he has to stop on the lighter side, knowing it's probably gonna go a little bit darker because he can't go lighter.
Yeah. Now look, she's putting some ferric on the highlights to bring that out. But doesn't that combination of the liver and the ferric and the white near the paw, see the beauty of that?
Yes.
And then let's look at that if it had a little. Yeah, look at how that
Oh
all
yeah,
comes out.
that's perfect. Well, it's got a lot of depth to it. It's nothing that looks like it's opaque at all.
Yeah. And there's even this chemical, this might go a little too far, but this is red ferric oxide. So
Okay.
if we wanted to make the nose even a little pinker,
Ever so slightly.
Look
Yeah,
at that.
there you go. Yeah.
add a little of that on there. Now we'll probably, what we do is we go from things being a little brighter and then we bring them back and forth, and that gives you the depth and the natural look.
It's kind of
Got
like,
a great question here, guys, from Dave North. He's asking how permanent is the patina finish they're creating when the piece is outside?
good question. That's for Eric. Yes.
Well, we're going to put a special lacquer, Nicholas lacquer, that's made for the bronzes outdoor. Now, like anything, if you put anything outside, it's going to get weathered
Yeah.
and it can change, but it's basically very permanent.
Now with their climate, where he and Linda are in Montana, it's not salty brackish air. More than likely, it's going to be a lot like Arizona. Where in my
Yep.
experience, is they just get darker
Yep.
more
Yeah.
than anything.
Yeah, a little darker, and you got to wax them maybe once a year.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is, what I would do is I like to do nothing, and just whatever happens naturally, it just adds to the beauty.
Yeah.
But it's generally, they'll stay pretty close to the original.
Yeah, any of the larger pieces I have at home, I do not wax. I like the same thing you're saying, is just let them oxidize and get rich. It's almost like wood that gets better with age.
Yeah, sometimes people bring old bronzes into me and they go, look at this, it's a mess, it's terrible, can you fix it? And I go, it's beautiful, what are you talking about?
Don't touch it.
We need to leave that exactly
Yeah,
how it
really.
is.
Hey guys, we have our good friend Jen Farnsworth.
Jen, welcome.
Stunning. You're all such talented and amazing artists.
I agree with you,
And
Jen.
Rosemary viewing also. Rosemary Farnsworth.
Oh, good, Rosemary.
Fascinating to watch a group of skilled artists all work together to help one another.
Yeah.
Watching from CT.
All right.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Well, just think of this too. I mean, as an artist, how much confidence I have to have in these people to do this, because I can't do it. These people do this every day for.
He could do it.
I don't think I could. I really couldn't. I mean, I see what you guys do with metal, what Travis and Stan do, and everything else.
I could whip Ken into shape in about a month.
I don't know. I don't know if that could happen, but
Should
anyway.
we go into a little of the background of how we got into doing this kind of stuff?
Oh yeah,
like
do
with
so. Absolutely.
Kristen, what got you into this business?
Well, it was kind of a fluke. I was always interested in art, and I always took art classes in school. But I was actually working at an auto body shop, prepping cars to be painted. So I was doing a lot of sanding, and which is coincidentally something we do all the time too. And I saw that there was a foundry looking to hire some people. And I had no idea what that entailed, but I went in and I told them what I'd been doing, and they hired me on the spot, and I was put in the patina room to basically prep, which is a lot more wet sanding.
Yes.
And then eventually, once they found out I had an art background, they put me in to do some patina.
It was a
work.
perfect segue.
So
Yeah.
like a lot of people in this business, Kristen was already an artist.
That's what I was going to ask. You were doing art on your own anyway, right?
Yeah, my dad's an artist. He's an illustrator, so
Yes.
I was around art my whole life.
Yeah.
Her dad is a famous Disney comic book artist.
Oh, really? Really? That's
So
great.
yeah, so and she started at the same place I started working, and I had been doing art my whole
Yeah.
life too, and got a job there.
Yeah.
And I actually got to help train Kristen at that place.
Ah.
And then how long
But-
have you been working here now?
I think it's been 9 years. I think.
Yeah.
Is what we-
Wow. So we haven't heard Eric Peterson's story either, have we? How you got here?
Oh, how I got here, or anyway?
Well, in the patina business.
Well, it's, in a sense, kind of similar to Kristen, only, let's see, I was actually working for Coca-Cola. I was the Coke guy, delivering the Coke to the
Oh.
stores or whatever. And then I had a friend that worked at a foundry. And of course, I had been doing art since I was 2 years old, drawing, painting, everything like that. So when I went in, they found that out and gave me a job.
Interesting. And
yeah,
they
what
put you
you-
right to work. They didn't.
Well, what you learn in the foundry business is if you're a strong-looking young person and you have an art background, you'll automatically get.
Oh yeah, because you're carrying or you're creating heavy objects for a living, right?
Well,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just, it's a very hard job, and most
Yeah.
people can't hack it.
Yeah,
So there's a lot
that's
of
true.
turnover in the foundry business, a lot of work for very little money.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Well,
yeah.
you notice in the parking lot of any of these foundries, I've said this before to Shirley, that none of them are driving big fancy vehicles. It's a labor of love, and it's such a hard business to make a living at, because you're basically selling labor and selling time, and anything can go wrong.
Yeah.
Any part of the process. If you get castings that are not up to par, you're the guy that has to fix it.
Yeah.
And so hours go by and everything else. So we are so happy to show the artists that are behind the scenes. I'm proud of all you guys. And speaking of artists, on the 23rd, 2 weeks from today, we're going to show one of our favorite new artists. Shirley Albrecht is going to give a demonstration on her Gordon beads and weaving and everything else. You're going to love it. It's something you've never seen, with the combination of many mediums, from gourds to ceramics to everything else you can think of. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us, and I'm so glad you are here today. Eric and everybody else, thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll go back to getting this finished up,
All
get
right.
all the patina done, lacquer it. And
We'll do a segment on this when it's all done.
all right.
Absolutely.